we've been talking about this a little bit, but you give financial advice to families. That statistic I mentioned earlier, about 49% of Canadians within $200 of being unable to pay their monthly bills. Like, what can everyday Canadians do at this point? What's your advice to like a young family that's looking to buy a house, or a young family looking to save up, or just manage to get through whatever it is that we're about to get through? What advice would you give to them?
It's difficult because, first of all, it's if somebody is a low income, that's who gets impacted. We knew that, excuse me, going in. And as we were alluding to earlier, that level of what's considered, full impact of the inflation in a difficult way, changing your lifestyle, has moved way up the income scale. Now we're about half of Canadians are impacted in a way that is changing their lives. It's really tough for them because the structural problems that we've got are real. Keep in mind, even a year from now, if oil's at, let's make an easy number for us, $100 today. And that's way up, obviously, from sort of the $60 range, just going back 4 or 5 months, and way more than a year ago. But a year from now, let's say oil's at $115. Well, the inflation will be reported as $5 increase on the 110. That's it's compared to the previous year. So when we get all these lofty prices, inflation rate will probably go down. We're not going to keep going up at 40% a year on something. So they're really stuck in this. The one thing they're also measuring, and I want people to understand this, what you're measuring is those paper things called dollars don't buy you as much. That's what we're really measuring. Inevitable consequence. When you produce a lot of something, usually the price goes down. So we produced, hundreds of billions of dollars. No wonder the value of them, the purchasing power went down. And that's what's happened. So their money doesn't buy as much. And, we were chatting before where I'm just saying it's really interesting revelation for people that we say, hey, the Canadian dollar is 78 cents against the US dollar. I'm going, who cares? I don't eat US dollars. I don't live in a US dollar. That's not the relevant measure of your currency. It's what it can buy. And we know it's going to buy a heck of a lot less food coming up in the next year. It's, if you're wanting to buy lumber for a deck, you're building, whatever it is, it doesn't buy as much stuff. And so if you're just at that 200, like you're breaking even, and that's a significant number. When someone says I'm within, inflation rates at 6%, keep in mind what that actually means to people. It means if you're the average Canadian, you probably have to spend about $4,000 more for the same stuff you bought a year ago, if that keeps going at that, say, 6% rate. And then, wait a second, that's after-tax dollars. So I got to make like $5,500, pay $1,500 in income tax. Oh, now I've got that $4,000 left over. That's the challenge. And there's no easy way. There's no way out. Actually, people's lifestyles are going to change. When you have extra money, so you're an investor, my advice has been since February 2020, buy commodities, buy stuff. Why? Because, and you can see it's been a great call, by the way. It's just, that's the way it is, because it's the stuff that's getting, compared to our dollars, getting worth more and more and more. And I still believe that. I'm still a big fan of oil as an investment, Canadian oil, because we still undervalue it. But it's not just that. If we're going to do the EV revolution, and I believe we are politically, well, you need a lot more copper. I mean, we're not in the ballpark of, and I saw the Globe and Mail just put in an article a day or two ago, and I was laughing. I said, I've been talking about this for 2 years. Where's your lithium? Where's your cobalt? Where's your copper? Where's your nickel? That's how you get electric vehicles. You need lithium for batteries, or wind turbines. We're not even in the ballpark of discussing how do you increase the production? How do we obtain those minerals and metals? And so I still like the switch into those material things to protect my purchasing power of the dollar. And I'll give you one last example, I don't want to confuse people. Let's say you were lucky to have $10,000 and you had it 2 years ago. Would you rather have 10,000 worth of oil starting 2 years ago or 10,000 worth of dollars start 2 years ago? Be way better ahead with oil.